Welcome to Echoes of the Silk Road, a place where mystery, legend, and the unknown intertwine. From chilling encounters to forgotten folklore, every story is a step deeper into the shadows of history and imagination. If you enjoy unraveling the eerie and unexplained, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. And now, let's begin our journey down the Silk Road. Vanished without a trace. The disappearance of Brianna Maitland. Some disappearances feel like they were meant to happen in the shadows, silent, sudden, and without a single trace left behind. They leave no answers, only questions. And sometimes, the most haunting part isn't what we know, but what we don't. This is the story of Brianna Maitland, a quiet Vermont town, an abandoned farmhouse, and a car left in an eerie position like a ghost had driven it there. But the girl who had been behind the wheel, she was never seen again. What happened that night? And why does it feel like the answer has been buried just out of reach? March 19th, 2004. It had been a long day for Brianna Maitland. The 17-year-old had taken a high school equivalency test earlier that morning, then gone shopping with her mother in the nearby town of St. Albans. Her mother, Kelly, noticed that Brianna seemed distracted, like something was weighing on her. But when she asked, Brianna brushed it off. She had worked that evening at the Black Lantern Inn, a small, quiet restaurant in Montgomery, Vermont. Before heading to work, Brianna drove back to the home she had been staying at, a friend's house where she had recently moved. She had been living independently since moving out of her parents' home weeks earlier. It wasn't that they had a bad relationship. Brianna just wanted space, something of her own. That night at work, nothing seemed out of the ordinary. She finished her shift as usual and even told coworkers she was tired and heading straight home. But she never made it. The next day, something strange happened. About a mile back from the Black Lantern Inn, an old, abandoned farmhouse stood in disrepair, a structure that had been sitting empty for years, almost forgotten. And there, backed into the side of the building at a sharp angle, was Brianna Maitland's car. The sight was unsettling. The rear end of the vehicle had struck the farmhouse, as if it had reversed into it intentionally or in a panic. The driver's seat was empty, the doors were locked, and the keys were missing. But inside the car, everything was still there. Her wallet, her paychecks, her contacts, something she would have needed if she planned to go anywhere. Outside the car, there were faint signs of a struggle, loose items scattered near the vehicle, as if someone had left in a hurry. But there were no footprints leading away, no obvious trail. The police didn't think much of it at first. Maybe Brianna had run off. After all, she had recently moved out, and teenagers leave sometimes. It wasn't until her family realized she hadn't contacted anyone that they knew something was very, very wrong. It wasn't long before details started to surface, small, chilling pieces of a larger puzzle. Several people reported seeing Brianna's car the night she disappeared. A group of passing motorists recalled seeing it between midnight and 12:30 a.m., still backed into the house. And then there was the most unsettling detail. One witness claimed they saw headlights in the area, another vehicle near Brianna's car. But by the time the car was officially discovered, those headlights were gone. Had she been followed? Had she met someone there? Or was this something much more sinister? Police searched the area, bringing in dogs and combing through miles of terrain, but no body, No evidence, just a silent car in an empty night. The theories in Brianna's case range from unsettling to deeply disturbing. Some believe she left willingly with someone she knew, only to meet a fate she never expected. Others believe she was the victim of an opportunistic crime taken by someone lurking in the darkness. And then there's the possibility of something even more personal. Months before her disappearance, Brianna had been involved in a physical altercation with another girl, reportedly over a boy. The fight was serious enough that Brianna suffered a concussion and filed charges against her attacker. Was this revenge? Could someone have been waiting for her that night? But then, there's an even darker theory. Vermont has had its own share of criminal activity, including connections to drug-related crimes and trafficking. Some have speculated that Brianna may have unknowingly been caught up in something much bigger than herself. Perhaps she saw something she shouldn't have. Perhaps someone wanted to silence her. The eerie part? Over the years, multiple people have come forward claiming to know what happened to her. Some alleged she had been murdered, her body disposed of in a nearby river or hidden deep in the woods. Others said she had been taken against her will, trafficked, and never seen again. But no one has ever been able to prove it. To this day, Brianna Maitland's case remains a haunting mystery. No confirmed sightings, no solid leads, just an abandoned car, an empty night, and a girl who vanished into thin air. What really happened that night? Did she leave with someone willingly, only to meet the wrong fate? Or was she taken, silenced before she could call for help? Somewhere, someone knows the truth. But until that truth comes to light, Brianna Maitland's case remains an open question, one that lingers, unanswered, in the cold Vermont night. Trapped in the unknown, the death of Elisa Lam. Some mysteries aren't just unsolved, they feel unnatural, the kind that burrow into your mind, replaying in endless loops, always just out of reach. A young woman traveling alone, a notorious hotel with a dark past, and a final haunting piece of evidence. Grainy security footage showing her acting in ways no one can explain. What really happened to Elisa Lam? January 26, 2013. 20-year-old Elisa Lam arrived in Los Angeles, a stop on what was supposed to be a solo trip down the West Coast. She checked into the Cecil Hotel, an old building with a history that stretched far beyond its fading walls. The Cecil wasn't just a hotel, it was a place drenched in darkness. Over the decades, it had been home to infamous serial killers, mysterious suicides, and violent crime. Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker, lived there while terrorizing Los Angeles. Another serial killer, Jack Unterweger, checked in while actively murdering women. People had jumped to their deaths from its windows. Some landed on pedestrians below. Others were found dead in their rooms with no clear explanation. And now, Elisa had unknowingly stepped into this history. At first, her trip seemed normal. She called her parents regularly, posted updates on social media, but then something shifted. By January 31st, Elisa was supposed to check out of the Cecil and continue her journey, but she never did, and she never called home. Her parents, worried, contacted the police. What began as a missing persons case would soon unravel into something far stranger. February 13th, 2013. 2 weeks after her disappearance, the LAPD released surveillance footage from one of the Cecil's hotel's elevators. It was the last known footage of Elisa Lam, and it was disturbing. The video, just over 2 minutes long, showed Eliza entering the elevator alone. She pressed multiple buttons, perhaps at random, then stepped back, waiting. The doors didn't close. Eliza peered out of the elevator, looking left, then right, as if someone or something was out there. Then she stepped out. She moved strangely, her arms twisted unnaturally, as if there were someone talking, unseen. Her hands traced the air in slow, exaggerated motions. At times, she stepped back into the elevator, then out again, her movements erratic and unsettling. And all the while, the doors remained open. Finally, she disappeared from view. Moments later, the elevator doors closed as if nothing had happened. The footage spread across the internet like wildfire. Some believed she was hiding from someone, possibly being stalked. Others thought she was experiencing a mental health crisis. And then there were those who saw something more, something supernatural. February 19th, 2013. The Cecil Hotel had been receiving complaints. Guests reported that the water in their rooms was coming out discolored, black, with a strange taste. Maintenance workers were sent to the roof to inspect the water tanks. Inside one of them, they found her. Elisa Lam's body was floating, naked in the water. She had been missing for 19 days. The discovery only led to more questions. The water tank was not easy to access. To get to it, Eliza would have had to reach the rooftop, which was locked and alarmed. If she somehow made it past that, she would have needed to climb a ladder to reach the opening of the tank, an opening that was heavy and difficult to move. Yet, there she was. Her belongings were found beside her in the water, but there were no signs of injury, no evidence of struggle. The autopsy ruled her cause of death as accidental drowning, with no traces of drugs or alcohol in her system. But how does someone accidentally drown inside a rooftop water tank? Elisa Lam's case has led to endless speculation. Eliza had been diagnosed with bipolar disorder and depression, and some believe she may have been in a state of psychosis, unaware of her actions. The elevator footage could suggest paranoia, hallucinations, or delusions, but this theory doesn't explain how she accessed the locked rooftop and climbed into the tank. The foul play theory. Some believe Eliza was murdered, perhaps by a hotel staff member who knew how to access the roof. If so, why were there no signs of struggle? The supernatural theory. The Cecil Hotel's dark history has led some to wonder if Eliza encountered something beyond human understanding. Some point to her strange movements in the elevator, claiming she was interacting with an unseen force. Could something else have been inside that hotel with her? Then there's a theory that sends chills down the spine. Eliza's death bore eerie similarities to the plot of a 2005 horror film called Dark Water, in which a little girl drowns in a water tank atop a cursed apartment building. Even stranger, around the same time, an outbreak of tuberculosis occurred near Skid Row, close to the Cecil. The name of the TB test used? Lam Eliza. Coincidence? Or something else? The Cecil Hotel has seen more than its fair share of darkness, but few cases have left as many lingering questions as Elisa Lam's. Was it a tragic incident? A crime covered up in secrecy? Or did she step into something no one was meant to see? We may never know. Whispers from the Abandoned, the haunting of the Baker Hotel. Some places don't die, even when their doors close, their halls empty, and time begins to wear them down. Some places refuse to be forgotten. They hold onto their past, their secrets, and something else. The Baker Hotel in Mineral Wells, Texas, is one of those places. Once a glamorous retreat for the rich and famous, it now stands abandoned, its grand ballroom silent, its corridors frozen in time. But those who step inside say it isn't empty. They hear voices, feel unseen hands, and see figures that should not be there. Something lingers inside the Baker Hotel, and those who have dared to enter never forget what they've experienced. The year was 1929. Mineral Wells, Texas, was known for its healing waters, springs that drew visitors from all over, promising to cure ailments and restore youth. It was the perfect setting for a grand hotel. When the Baker Hotel opened its doors in 1929, it was unlike anything the small town had ever seen. A towering 14-story masterpiece. It was built to rival the finest hotels in the country. Celebrities, politicians, and socialites flocked to it. The hotel had everything: an extravagant ballroom, a luxurious spa, and even a rooftop swimming pool. But behind the glitz and glamour, there was something darker. By the 1940s, rumors of strange happenings had already begun. Staff reported hearing whispers in empty hallways, objects moving on their own. Guests would check out early, shaken by something they couldn't explain. And as the years went on, the energy inside the Baker began to shift. The hotel closed in 1972. Its once lavish halls were left to decay. But even as the lights went out, the spirits inside never left. Step inside the Baker Hotel today, and you might feel it instantly. The heavy air, the way the silence seems too deep, like the building itself is listening. Paranormal investigators, urban explorers, and former employees have all shared chilling experiences, encounters that defy logic. The woman in white. One of the most famous spirits at the Baker is that of a woman dressed in white. Some say she was the mistress of the hotel's owner, a woman who took her own life after being cast aside. Her spirit is seen wandering the hallways, her perfume lingering in the air. The red-haired boy. In the basement, the ghost of a young boy is often seen. Some believe he drowned in the hotel's pool long ago. Witnesses report hearing his laughter echoing in the darkness, or catching glimpses of him peeking around corners, always just out of reach. The elevator mystery. The Baker's old elevators seem to move on their own, stopping at random floors with no one inside. Guests have heard phantom footsteps stepping out, only to find themselves completely alone. The sixth floor. Perhaps the most active area of the hotel, the sixth floor is known for shadowy figures, sudden temperature drops, and voices whispering directly into visitors' ears. Many who have entered the Baker say the same thing. It doesn't feel abandoned. Why does the Baker hold on to so much energy? The tragedies of the past. Over the years, several people are said to have died in the hotel. Some believe their spirits never left. Residual energy. The Baker was once filled with life, laughter, and emotion. Some believe that energy has imprinted itself onto the building, replaying like a ghostly recording. Something darker? Others suggest the baker may be a beacon for paranormal activity, drawing spirits or something else toward it. Whatever the truth may be, one thing is certain. The Baker Hotel has never truly been empty. The Baker Hotel remains one of the most haunted places in Texas. It stands as a reminder that some places never rest, their stories still unfolding long after the final guests have checked out. Would you dare to step inside? The echoes of the past still whisper in the dark, but for now, our journey ends here. If you've enjoyed this tale from the shadows, be sure to like, share, and subscribe so you never miss what waits beyond the veil. Until next time, tread carefully and listen closely. The road is never truly silent.